So welcome to today's Feed Your Mind series. We have Lisa Even with us today from Even Connection Leadership. And I am pronouncing that correctly, right, Lisa? I
You
forgot to
are.
ask.
I know, it's
Oh,
so
that's right.
simple.
It's so logical, but is it
Yeah.
what it actually is? So yeah. So let me just say a little bit about Lisa. You saw a little bit about her when you registered for the program today. She's the founder of Even Connection Leadership, and Lisa's on a mission to create a positive ripple effect in the world by bringing joy to leaders and small business owners. And she has chosen a very timely topic for us today to creatively reframe your work in 2021. I'm sure everyone is at a stage where you are reading this year and your big plans for next year. And if you're not yet, I'm sure you will be soon, especially after Lisa's presentation. So Lisa, I can't wait to hear what you're going to share with us today. Please.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. We're going to dive right in. This morning, I have a Snoopy theme. So I thought that that would be a fun way as we're all thinking about holidays and end of year, and another funny show that we can relate to. So you'll see that scattered throughout. The first thing I would like to share with you, and I think I just have to, there we go, minimize that, are a few virtual rules of engagement. I always show this slide because online presentations are messy. Sometimes they're a bit awkward. I feel like maybe our entire world is learning a new language as we navigate the virtual space. And so, a few of the things that I have promised to you is that I will talk with you as if I'm having a conversation with a friend. I want you to feel like we're in the same room, and I'm just going to acknowledge that off the bat. I'm on a mission to connect with a million people. I don't know if you checked out my website or if you've heard that about me, but part of that magic is being able to connect with people, whether it's virtual or in person. In addition, I want you to know that you're seen and heard. People don't engage unless they feel like they're part of the conversation. So I'm inviting you now to be a part of it. I'll provide you nuggets of insight and I'll bring the energy. I usually have plenty to go around. I invite you to participate in your own way, whether it's you're multitasking in the background. I get it. We're all business owners. We're doing everything. Be a part of the chat box, or maybe just observe if that's your cup of tea. But I'm hoping that we'll laugh, share, and learn together. If I do my job, you'll leave today feeling a little bit lighter, have a few new things to try, and ultimately reframe your work. I want to just run through the agenda for this morning. I'm going to be talking about three buckets. Those buckets are your customer needs, your customer's buying experience, and then my favorite topic is leadership and leading teams. So we'll also talk about the work experience that you're creating for your team. I don't know about you, but lately I've been feeling a little bit of each of these. More work, less time, more work, more money, less work, less money, more time, all of the above. And wait a minute, what's today? You probably can't agree more that we're ready to ring in a new year. The good news is that the next year is days away. I want to tell you a couple of stories. The first one being about my son and daughter, who are a first grader and a third grader, and they do karate. And pre-COVID, we went in person to a busy space where they could literally get their energy out, and I could sit on the bench, smile, maybe take a picture, nod, but have 20 minutes of just silence for myself. Post-COVID, they're actually doing virtual karate. The other story I want to tell you about is I've got a friend who owns a kid cooking class company. And pre COVID, kids would come to her space, they would cook meals together, laugh, learn, and actually experience what it feels like to cook. Kids are now doing those classes online and doing the same thing in a different way. Now, last night was really busy. We had karate, so we were virtually doing karate. The kids were running around the house practicing their moves. We had dinner, a movie night, and then after my kids went to bed, I actually connected the Ankeny Prairie Trail PTO to my friend Sue's cooking business. We're thinking about bringing some online cooking classes to Prairie Trail. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, Lisa, enough about your personal life. Why are you telling us this? Well, that's just two examples of businesses that had to shift. My customer need didn't go away. My kids still want karate. There are still opportunities for cooking classes, but we just need it delivered in a different way. We need a new mechanism to receive services. I have good news for you. Customer needs have not gone away. They just needed to get me their product or service in a different way. So, our job, we've got to connect with those needs. If you're a small business, it's your job to connect with those. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, yeah, but. And during every presentation I give, I always give opportunities for the yeah, buts. In my leadership with my employees, I say, bring it on. I want your yeah, buts. I want to hear them. You might say to me, okay, connecting with our customers, their needs, I don't have time. I don't have money. I don't have the creativity. I don't have the bandwidth. Now, I'm here to tell you I'm a pretty upbeat person, but the one thing I will tell you in a very serious manner is staying open requires that we're relevant. So in 2021, we're going to have to connect with those needs in a different way. One thing to keep in mind, and I encourage you to do, is ask your customers what their needs are. Ask them their preferences, offer options so that they can tell you if they like those offerings or options. One thing that I've recently started doing is talk about my asking on social media. So let's say you go back to your desk later today and you write an email asking 3 people about the new holiday offering that you've put out there. And they respond back and they give you 2 helpful nuggets of information. And the third one, you get nothing. It's crickets. You should then take that and post it on your social media and say, I've asked 3 customers about my holiday baskets, and here's what I learned. What do you think? Part of your job is to change the conversation. If you can do it in a way that's enticing and interesting to your consumer, you can also drive more commenting, more questions on your social media account. Without any money or creativity, you can change the conversation, build credibility with your customers that they see that you're listening, and maybe have a little bit of fun with it. Don't forget to share those results online so that they can see your authenticity and how you're actually going about doing business behind the scenes. Remember, their needs are still there. They just need a different engagement and delivery mechanism. Now, again, we all know that in 2020 and heading into 2021, that people need a reason to celebrate. They need something to make them smile. They need convenience. They need things that are cheap. They need luxury. And ultimately, they need you to help them snap out of it. So if you can change the conversation, whether it's in your store by hanging a sign that's really enticing or intriguing, by changing the conversation on social media, and even just asking for input, you're going to have a huge impact in a way that you never thought you could. Ultimately, your job is to find the need, change the conversation, and create some buzz. You've got to let people know about it. They won't know unless you actually say it out loud. Before I switch to talking about buying experience, I want to do a quick recap. I want you to consider doing one of the following things in the next week. This is the homework part. Write it down. In that conversation and buzz space, I want you to do, and I have to read these because I don't have these memorized, so I'm going to look down for a second. Number 1, I want you to either post a blooper on your social media about your business. Maybe it's a funny photo on the wall. Maybe you offer a service. Maybe you offer a product and you realize that it dropped on the floor and now it broke. I want you to put that blooper out on social media because people want to laugh along with you. They want to feel you doing business. Or I want you to do something like a how it's made video. So maybe you offer card making. I want you to make a card and give it like a 30-second, this is what I do to make cards. And I want you to put it out in your space and ask people for input. If that doesn't work for you, I want you to put out a lately I've been post. So lately at the store, we've been this. Lately in our financial services business, we've done this. Lately in our technology space, we've done this. Doesn't matter what type of business you are, you've been doing something lately. Let your people know so they can authentically see you. And if you're like, okay, yeah, Lisa, yeah, but I've got one more for you. If you don't want to do any of those things, I want you to share a belief with your audience. Share something that you believe in or something that you're proud of in your business. People buy beliefs, they don't buy products. Look at Apple, people will pay $1 jillion for a cell phone, and many of the big boys out there. It's no different with small businesses. An extra nugget that I want to share with you, and you can jot this down, is I had a lesson from my son this week. He's 9. And he says, Mom, I really want you to watch this video with me. And I'm thinking, I don't have time to watch any video with you, but okay, fine. So he pulls up on our TV a YouTube video by this group called Dude Perfect, Dude Perfect. And I encourage you to watch the Dude Perfect tour video. These 4 or 5 guys started shooting basketballs in their backyard. They were college students. They didn't have a cement slab, but they had a hoop. So they started shooting trick shot videos for fun, and they put them out online and went viral. The reason why I share this is they talk about their journey and how they figured out that people cared when they were being authentic, being a little bit creative, and also their journey to get there is just super inspiring. It's a great family watch if you've got kiddos or nieces or nephews. So definitely check out Dude Perfect Tour on YouTube. Now we're going to switch to talking a little bit about the buying experience. You heard a little bit about me at the beginning, but my husband and I actually spent most of the last 10 years in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We're originally from Iowa, moved up there for his job, and have 2 kiddos, and now we're back to be closer to grandma and grandpa. This is a picture of the coffee shop that we normally go to in the summer. It's right along Lake Michigan, and it's amazing. My 3 of my favorite things in life are going to a coffee shop, especially one that's outdoors so my kids can play. Number 2, going to the hair salon because it's just a quiet time where someone else can make this do something else. And 3, having our family pictures taken. I can't tell you how proud I am to see my kids when they were little. I'm like, you were so little. Uh, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about each of the customer buying experiences at 3 of my favorite places. This is called Collectivo Coffee Shop. And one of the things they do, you can see in the bottom right of the screen, is they hand you your cup of coffee, but before they do, their barista stands there with this toothpick looking thing, and they actually swirl a design into your coffee right in front of you, and then they hand it to you. Now, the line is usually out the door, and they don't skip this step ever. So everyone just politely waits because you know you want your coffee design. My husband and I often refer to this experience when I'd be like, hey, I'm going to get a coffee design because we liked it so much and thought that it was really cute and customized to us. The funny thing is, I asked them once, how many of those do you do? He goes, I only know how to do 3, but I figure if I do one for you, the next person behind them gets the second one I know how to do, and the third one gets the third one that I know how to do. Everyone will think that I'm doing a special one for them. And I was like, you're an 18-year-old genius. So I encourage you to think about how you can swill the froth on the top of each of your designs in your business. Because I will tell you what, that didn't cost them any money, and they're having high schoolers do it. As I mentioned, the hair salon. This is like heaven for people who don't know how to do their own hair, and maybe for a few other people too. This is called the Neroli Salon and Spa in Milwaukee. They have 5 or 6 locations. It's a picture of the one that I normally go to. They do two really cool things. Pre-COVID, of course, they offer infused water, and they have these huge jugs that are like, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 feet tall. And they get your infused cup of water from that in front of me. So I'm like watching them get me like cucumber water. And then they have these little trays, and they put a hot towel on there. And you get the hot towel, and it's just kind of a way to like warm your hands, relax you while you're waiting for the person to bring you over to the salon chair. Now, this experience my husband and I often talk about as I'm going to get my hot towel. So he knows hot towel is code for getting my hair done. When they wash your hair, they also, when you're sitting back in the chair, they put a hot towel over your head. And it's just this like little theme that they have woven throughout the entire experience. And finally, our photographer. For family photos, this is a picture of my daughter a few years ago. She's now 6. She's super cute. I am biased. But one of the things that our photographer always did is she provides the digital images because we all know that everybody wants them electronically. But then after every photo session, she actually drops a couple of 4x6s so I could print them at Walgreens, but she does it for me. She drops them in the mail, and then I always know that I'm going to get them like a week later. And she has this cute little note, which I couldn't find one for this morning. I wanted to get a picture for you. But she puts the note on there, and it says, I hope you take this to work and show off your beautiful family. She almost gives me like a to do with like, hey, carry around my marketing material for me and hang it on your wall. And I do it thinking she's done me a favor and has provided a convenience for me. So, again, if you're in a space where you're providing a service, think about how you can offer them an opportunity to get it in a different way. It doesn't have to just be a product based business, and you can always send snail mail. If you offer a service, maybe it's coaching, or even if you do like personal training with people at the gym, maybe you, and I will tell you, the more, in a sense, DIY, the better. If you find a recipe in a magazine, rip it out and mail it to them. They will think you are being so customized to them, and they will return and probably nickname it the towel. I'm going to get my hot towel, or my coffee frill, or I'm taking my work photo to work. One other example that I'll give you is a financial services company that I recently worked with. They actually decided that they were going to offer a customer buying experience during the holidays where they hand delivered some of the holiday gifts that they give out. So they gave this plate, and it said like love, I think health and wealth on it. They hand delivered it to people's front doors, put it there, rang the doorbell, and then stood at the curb to have safe social distancing and waved. And I just thought that was a really unique experience that people would really latch onto. My last one is I showed my kids this slide this morning. I'm in a habit of brainwashing my children into being good humans. And so I try to show them a little bit about what mom is up to with Even Connection Leadership. But on the right, they went crazy when they saw Mr. Dale. So Mr. Dale owns a mobile gas station in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It's in a little suburb called Shorewood. It's about a block and a half from the lake. And he is 82 years old. And every time somebody pulls up to the gas pump with kids in the car, he walks out and hands them, I kid you not, each one Lifesaver Mint, like you can see on the screen. I went to this gas station and would drive out of my way to get these corny little mints because my kids loved it. Now, I can tell you that this is number one, a pain in my rear because I'm not always close to this gas station. And number two, I tried buying a bag of mints to say, guys, we're getting gas. Here's a mint. They called me. They called me on my bluff, like immediately. Mom, the guy didn't give it to us. Mr. Dale did not give us the mint. And I was like, oh, Mr. Dale, what have you done to my children? You've made them into the customer. They're not even buying it. So it was interesting this morning. I have a picture that I'll show you of the actual gas station, and I got thinking I should Google this guy because people talk about him. If you're in that area and you're like, oh yeah, I go to the mobile station. We got to get our candy. There's actually a really cute article. I put the link at the bottom of the screen. This guy is famous for doing this in the Shorewood, Milwaukee area. So if you want to read a cute article or check that out, I really encourage you to do so. The other really funny thing about this mobile shop is this is what it looks like. So there are 4 pumps in this gas station, and in a busy city, people wait for service at this gas station, partially because it's helpful, it's easy, and it's unique. I'm guessing they probably spend, I don't know, $30 to $50 on candy a month. But it really truly makes the customer feel like you went above and beyond, further than your product. It's easy. And to be honest, it didn't take much for him to do that. And another thing is that it's unique. You don't expect it. Now, there are so many steps to creating an amazing buying customer experience. The one piece of feedback I will give you in your business is I would actually sit side seat with someone who's trying to buy a product or a service from you. So maybe you have a niece that you're like, hey, Sally, I would like for us to sit down and go on my website. I want you to buy this product of mine. I'll pay for it, but I want to sit with you and watch you, bird's eye, side seat, actually click all the buttons because you might not know if your product or service is easy, helpful, or unique until you've actually sat in the customer seat. Now, I would love to tell you that, oh, yeah, you're going to be able to go and jump online and do it as if you were a customer. You won't, because it's like tying a shoe. You're going to tie your shoe without even thinking. You need to watch someone else experience it to really know what it looks and feels like to be in their space. We all know that customers have options and that people pay attention to things that they believe in. If you can create a helpful, easy, and unique experience for them, it's gold. The third space I want to jump us to is the work ecosystem. If you are a team of one, or you've got a few employees, you've got contractors, your world took a shift in 2020. Your ecosystem, as I like to call it, what you were used to functioning in, pretty much turned on its head. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about how you can actually shift that ecosystem. But before we do, I'd like you to play along. This is the corny part of the presentation where you have to look up from your screen if you're hiding. And I actually want you to type in the chat box. And we're going to do 3 of these, and then I'm going to tell you why. So number 1, in the chat box, I want you to pick your quarantine house, and there's a number next to each option. So the first one is Netflix, Hulu. You'd get a heated blanket, a comfy couch, endless snacks, but you'd probably have bed bugs. Or maybe you're a porch swing, whiskey fire pit, fishing pond kind of person, but unfortunately you'd have to live with someone you don't like. Or number 3, maybe you have a home gym, protein shakes, a view of the city, a small dog, and no smartphones or tablets. Number 4, this is what I would choose: a swimming pool, margaritas, a master grill, a big dog, and no video games. 5th, your option is our library, garden, coffee bar, fluffy cat, ghost. Or number 6, a hot tub, a mountain view, movie projector, wine cellar, and no internet. Daniel, I might use your help to give us some of what you're seeing roll through the chat box, but I'd love to hear what some people are selecting.
Sure. When we've got number 4 and a number 2, some number 4. Yeah, some people choosing lots of them.
Good.
So I could give up things listed as the downside, except I don't like the good side. I want to mix and match.
Right? I know. There's like no win in this game.
Um,
Absolutely.
but yeah, I'm seeing just about everyone their favorite. I think every has been selected.
Good, good, good. Okay, now we're gonna try another one. This is the hardest one for me. So in this instance, you have to eliminate two forever. You're either giving up tacos, fries, beers, burgers, sodas, pizza, or cake. The only thing that I could think of, and again, please put these in your chat. We're going to come back to them, and I need a few examples. Uh, is that if maybe I give up beer on here, I could still have like seltzer drinks or something else. That was like my workaround to be able to like still get what I wanted without having to give those up. So I see a few more comments coming through. Yeah, keep them coming because this is good.
Cake and fries are a big choice for a lot of people. Yeah.
Okay, good. So,
Some people can get rid of soda. Yeah.
okay, good. And the last one I want you to take a gander at. And for the men, sorry, there's a lot of women focused shoes here, but you get to keep one from each row. So maybe you're going to keep blue shoes, Doritos, you're going to be on the beach and you're going to have Diet Mountain Dew. But I want to know which ones you're going to keep. So I'll give you just a second for that. And then if you'd be so kind as to participate, I would appreciate those examples. You can see that I'm going to keep the flip flops, the Doritos, the beach, and the Diet Mountain Dew. Daniel, what are we getting there?
Oh boy. Yeah, I'm
Is it
having
all over
trouble.
the board?
Yeah, it is. I'm having trouble reading the codes. Let's see. We got some votes. Keep the tennis shoes.
Okay, good.
Some people are keeping boots.
Hmm, there we go.
Keeping Doritos and the Mountain Dew.
Yeah, once you do the do, you can't undo it. Yeah, yeah, good. Well, Daniel,
Lots of
thank you
people like
so.
the what's that? The spring, whatever
Hmm.
the green one is. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we got a lot of H. Good. Well, thank you for playing along to the group, number one. And then Daniel, thank you for, I put you on the spot. You probably didn't know I was going to be like, and now we're going to play a cheesy game. But the reason why I share this with you is I actually have a group of girlfriends. There's 5 of us in a text chain. And we go back and forth, I don't know, every few weeks or so. One of the girls in the chat or in the text chain, she throws one of these out there and we always respond. And what I find really interesting is we all have options, we all have preferences, it's all over the board, but we love it because we get to give input on our experience and our preferences. It's a fun game to play. So I throw that out there if you need something to do with a group of people that you haven't connected with in a while, but it's a great reason to strike up a conversation. If you need more of these at the end, you'll have my contact information and I can get you a few more, as corny as that sounds. Now, think about it. A small text chain with 5 women, we feel happy and proud with options. Customers want to feel happy and proud with options. Well, so does your team. They want to feel happy and proud, and they want to have options. I teach a session around being the cruise director. Now, how many of you, again, if you're willing to share in the chat, go on cruises? I've been on a couple. They were overnight cruises, but some people love cruises. And I think about this often. We've got a couple of friends who are always planning their next one. They're always like booked. They're like, we're going here and we're going here and we caught a deal. And I always find it so fascinating because on each cruise they go on, they select it for specific reasons. Well, we don't want to take our kids, so this is a kid-free cruise. Or we want to do the Alaskan cruise where they hand you a pair of binoculars, you're wearing your big heavy gear, you're putting on your boots. Or maybe you want to go somewhere tropical where they drop you off at the beach for a day or two and you come back to the boat. Here's the thing about being on a cruise. There was a whole bunch of people who created an experience for you to pay for. And they had from everything you did in mind, from the minute you went to purchase the cruise, to the minute you stepped on the boat, to the minute you stepped off. As a leader for your team, you are the cruise director, whether you like it or not. You set the tone. In the class that I teach, we talk about creating an experience itinerary for new employees, contractors, as well as current employees. The person that's been on your team for 30 years is going to need a very different cruise, very different. Probably no social activities. They're ready to like see the retirement horizon than someone who's brand new and out of college. So if you want to learn more, feel free to reach out, but we can talk about the itinerary, how to create the perks, and how to give them options. Okay, Lisa. Yeah, but you're just getting into corny land again. I ain't got time for that. Well, here's something you can go back and do with your team, even if it's small. Number one, you need to ask them the question, what gets them up in the morning? Because if their kids get them up in the morning and they love being a mom, your cruise director itinerary is going to include that in it. If they say, Lisa, this is my second part-time job, I'm doing it for the money, ding, 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 they told you what motivates them, a component of that. You should know what gets them up professionally as well as personally. If they want more practice doing sales calls for you, for your business, you can get them doing that. If they want more experience making your product, maybe you develop or design, or you actually have a warehouse where some of your product is made, they should probably be getting in their car and driving there so that they can see it. Now, my background, to give you a sense, I've spent the last 10 years of my career in the healthcare space, and then I also do some work in the financial services industries. So I often use a lot of healthcare references, you'll see, but I also say take their pulse. How do they want to feel? How do you want to make them feel? What are they doing? What do they want to do? And what they wish they could do? Because perception is reality. The more you know, the stronger you'll be as a leader, and the better cruise director you will be in terms of creating their experience. To wrap up this section, I want to summarize. Be their cruise director, you set the tone, give them an experience that they're looking for, take their pulse regularly, and don't forget to ask them. Sometimes if I can't solve a problem, if I ask my employee, usually it's like that quiet introvert that comes up with the best idea. And I'm like, you had that all along, didn't you? It was like sitting in your brain, and I just needed to find a reason to pull it out of you. I also want to talk a little bit about virtual networking. This wasn't part of what you signed up for, but I wanted to give you a little something extra. The next time you're giving a presentation, or maybe even starting a team meeting, or even meeting with a contractor, I want you to think start, middle, and end. You should be able to answer the question, and I always call it my virtual interaction style. So this is a Lisaism, a Lisa term. Your virtual interactions should be interesting. They should not be on a scale of boring to inspiring. They should not be near the boring spot. Okay, yeah, but Lisa, I'm not an extrovert. Honestly, I don't have time and I don't have the money. Well, here's something interesting. If you want people to remember you or your product or your business, you can take this tactic and use it. So at the start, surprise them. Maybe you're going to play some music for them. Maybe it's something that they see first and you put it up on the screen to show them that, hey, why is this up on the screen this morning? Like it already gets them thinking like, I can't just go back to my work and be engaged on the side. My brain's telling me, hey, I'm seeing something that I wasn't expecting. The other thing that I've recently seen someone do is they put a Where's Waldo in the background. So they printed it off, and every time they meet with their team, it moves. And now their team has a reason when they log in to immediately pay attention. The other thing, if you're like, okay, yeah, but Lisa, not liking any of those ideas, is share something about you that they don't know. Did you know my favorite food is pickles? They immediately look up thinking, huh, wasn't expecting you to say that. And then start your presentation, or maybe even tell them a quick story. So that start, surprise them. The middle, get them curious. Maybe somewhere in the presentation or the session or the agenda or the meeting, you can ask them, did you know? Did you know X amount of people make the same product as us? Or maybe during a break, you play music or give them something interesting to look at. And finally, the end. End with the same phrase each meeting. I have a friend who owns a coaching company, and every time she ends a meeting, she says these three phrases: life is short, anything is possible, make it a great day. And people start to associate the last thing you said with almost like your last words, famous last words, right? It's okay to be famous with your team and in your meetings. Here's one thing I wouldn't do: don't share your favorite quote. We are so overquoted every day, all day. Now, do you do it sometimes? Absolutely. But don't share those all the time, because people almost tune out thinking, I've already got a favorite quote, like I'm good. So it's your turn. You're going to be thinking in 2021 about your customers' needs. You're going to find their need by asking them or offering options. You're going to change the conversation, especially in social media or putting something up in your business so that they actually want to start a conversation with you when they shop. And you're going to create some buzz around it in the sense of put it on social media, share those bloopers or those behind the scenes or those lately we've been doing X. And then you're going to think about their buying experience. Is it helpful, easy, and unique? And if you need to take advice from Mr. Dale, all it takes is some Lifesaver mints. And the third one is around that work experience. If you've got contractors, employees, volunteers, you're the cruise director. Take their pulse often and know their whys. And if you can't solve it, ask them. In case you want to feed your mind more, this is a copy of my, or a picture of my bookshelf. So these are the books that I'm reading currently: Getting More, Obviously Awesome, Talk Like Ted, and Building a Story Brand. Those are amazing books. I'm about 3/4 of the way through. It's almost like the top one is my newest book, and the bottom I'm like farther along. But those are some of the things that I'm doing to feed my brain in 2020 and going into 2021. I'm all about having good ripple effect, as Daniel said. I believe that people can have happy ripples or crappy ripples in the things that they say, in the things that they do, and how they interact with their team. If you need some happy ripples, you can reach out. I do 8-week challenges with frontline leaders. So I love supervisors, managers, directors, kind of those people in that middle that aren't senior leadership. They're kind of getting pushed on from above, and then their team's pushing on them from below. Inspirational speaking, as well as workshops and consulting. Again, I'm on a mission to connect with 1 million people. I'd love to connect after the session. If you would love to do virtual coffee, I would absolutely have you. I'll open it up for questions and comments. I'd love to get, if you've got something challenging that you're dealing with, or you'd like an example, I would love to share one. Thank you.
I'll go ahead and unmute everyone so you all chance then. Anyone want to jump in? Ask any questions, share any experiences through your mind about what Lisa shared today?
Can you go back to the cruise director slide?
Absolutely.
Thanks. The one right after that. Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
And you use this to come up with employee perks and recognitions, Lisa? Is that what this
Absolutely.
is
So
for?
I use
Okay.
this. I ask them when an employee first starts, I want to know these things. I want to know what gets them up in the morning. And then I also want to take a pulse on how they want to feel, because it's going to help me figure out how to either motivate them, train them, or underneath it, whether they're here for a career, or maybe they're just here because it's a second job. And I'm okay with that because I can motivate on either front. But I want to understand at the beginning where their ripple starts, and then I can craft everything around that, whether they're new, existing, or longtime employees. Yep.
I love what you said about asking them, because I have a gal that's starting with me after she passes her exam, and I reached out to her the other day and just said, hey, what do you think about this? And she gave me such excellent feedback.
Good. Yeah. You'd be surprised. People are like hiding it from you. And you're like, oh my gosh, where has this been all my life? Good. One other Q&A that I've gotten recently that I'll share is sometimes people struggle to motivate contractors so that I don't pay their salary necessarily. And they, I don't have any disciplinary ability. How do I keep them accountable? And one of the things that I always do is on one sheet of paper, I always know what I want them to do and by when. And I just bring that to the meeting. And for whatever reason, I always use these yellow folders. I don't know if you guys do too. But if I'm going to an in-person meeting, I just put it in my folder and I put it off to the left. If I'm doing it virtually, they can't see it. And then when I am actually asking them about the tasks to complete, I make sure I'm like, okay, what do you think we should do here? What are the parts and pieces that go into this? And when do you think we should have them done by? Because I've already figured it out in my folder, but I need them. It's almost like running a race. They're back at the beginning. And I'm like, what do you think? Hurry up and get up here. So then they're already thinking it through, and it's them giving their input on when they think it should be done by. So they can set their own self deadlines. And then I can go back to them and say, hey, I remember you are thinking we should have this done by the 24th. It's the 21st. I haven't heard anything. I'm checking it. And then the accountability is automatically on, oh yeah, I did say that, didn't I? Meanwhile, I've already got the cheat sheet of what I wanted them to do anyway. And then all I have to do is do a quick double check of like, yep, that aligns. Yep, I think we're going to get there. Okay, good. We're good to go. You will probably see like they will be motivated beyond like what you can imagine, just because they gave input, they got to shine, and then they're accountable to it. So those are super easy hacks that I would encourage it. And maybe you're already doing it, but it's the most fantastic thing for employees or contractors.
Why yellow?
You know what? I just really like bright, shiny, sunny, like happy things, which you can probably already tell from my personality, but that just seems to be the way. And then it's not scary to the like, why did the boss bring a folder into the room and why does she keep looking at it? Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Lisa, thank you so much for sharing today. This has been a wonderful presentation. I took a few notes today too as we're going through things. So I've got a few on my to-do list here that I'm going to work on as a result of this today. So thank you so much for sharing today. I do want to share with everyone else, as far as our Refine series goes, our last presentation for this year, just looking ahead at what's the next couple of weeks. Decided not to try to schedule one getting too holidays and too close to year end. Thank you, Lisa, for being our closer series this year. And want to thank Holly Jacobson and MediaCom Business for being our sponsor. I want to put a bug in for next year as we go forward. We are starting to do for Feed Your Mind series. We'd love to have people who are members of the chamber to step up a short presentation. It could be something about topic that you're very passionate about. It could be something that you're an expert on, but whatever it is, we'll have you share. It's just a chance to, as the title says, just to kind of feed our minds a little bit, just to stimulate the mind. Please make sure that you speak up and share a topic. You can reach out to Trish. You can reach out to me. Mingus is helping also a little bit with some of that scheduling. So love to hear from you. There are number of events coming through the year as well. Taking a look at the calendar, it looks like we've got Caffeinate and Conversate, which is our regular Tuesday morning event that's going to go through the rest of the year. So do make sure that you take it of that. And otherwise, we'll see you next year.
Next week is actually the last Caffeinate and Conversate, and Andy will be hosting it. So everyone would need to register to get correct Zoom information.
Thank you, Annie. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah. And otherwise, I've known either. Yeah. Make sure that register for that. That's good. And otherwise, yeah, make sure you take advantage of the last Caffeinate and Conversate event of the year. And we'll see you all next year.
Thank you.
Looking forward to business again.
It's really great.
Thanks.
Great day, everyone. And my send off to your success.
Love it.
Thanks so much. Have a great day, everybody.